Hi everyone, my name is Vishnu son of Raghunathan and my metric number is DFOM 1903724 and my team member's name is Yeshiran Kuludung DFOM 1803634. Today I want to talk about activity aircraft maze, weight and performance. Okay, next page. Okay, for the introduction, aircraft maze, weight and performance is even though the airlines are in business to transport people from one place to another place, they could not function without the help of many people on the air or on the ground, including those who take reservation and sell tickets, as well as those who help keep the airplanes operating on schedule to ensure the safe of the flight. Those who are involved in the operation of flight known as aircrew. Okay, for the introduction, most important for aircraft maze performance is for lift, thrust, drag, and weight, which was the aircraft got center of gravity.
Thank you, Vishnu, for giving us a general idea and a general picture of what the subject is really meant to be. Well, before sliding into the content, let me ask a question. Do weather affects the flight? And the answer will be yes, it does affect the flight. Well, climate changes do affect flights. So one of the common weather that gives a big effect is just the hot air. So the extreme air temperature affects the physical of how the aircraft fly, meaning aircraft takeoff performance can be impaired on hot days. The amount of lift that an airplane wing generates is affected by the density of air. Air density in turn depends mostly on the air temperature and elevation. High temperature and higher elevation both reduce density. Well, in cold temperature, the air will be more air, the more lift there will be. If it's hot temperature, there's less air and less lift. Well, if there's lower air density, the faster an airplane must travel to produce enough lift to take off. It takes more runway to reach a higher speed, and depending on how long is the airport runway is, some airplanes might risk running out of room before reaching sufficient speed. Well, not only that, due on economic wise, the adaptation of economic, on most affected flights, the amount of cargo, passenger and fuel must be removed to allow to take off will usually be small. So when it's hot, they have to take out some of the luggages or some of the cargo from the area itself, from the aircraft itself. Let's move on for the second weather condition. On winter, well, on winter there will be so much of snow flowing and it's a good and cold type of weather. Well, as by before the hot season, it will be hard for an aircraft to fly, but why in winter it will be hard as well? Well, on winter, flying visibility will be super low, and it's very dangerous. Of winter forms of precipitation can affect visibility when flying in the winter. It can be hard to see when a snowstorm is right outside on the ice is creeping up your window. Well, you probably do not need to worry about hitting anything while you are in the air. This decreases the visibility, also makes it harder to safe land. Landing and takeoff in winter is super risky, and it's lowering the pilot's visibility as well. The wet runway can create a challenge for the pilot, and also the ground can be more slippery. Weather of landing and takeoff in a slippery runway can be dangerous because it brings a nightmare for the pilot itself. If you're driving, just imagine if you're driving a car in the snow and you know your braking is not well, and that's a dangerous task to go on. Last weather type would be the raining. Just because it's raining and windy on the way to the airport doesn't mean it's going to be a rough flight. Thousands of aircraft across the world operated through rain and snow without any event. Even commercial airliners have strict rules and operation, including conditions in which the aircraft can take off in with the clearance of the ATC. So what are the effects that's going to be faced by us during the raining flight? Well, we will be experiencing a bumpy flight. Most likely, or very rare occasionally, we will be struck by a lightning. And also the most crucial part of this certain timing is just the landing, the most challenging part of the flight itself. The ground staff and the flight crew account for a much higher margin for error. Aircraft can land perfectly fine in low visibility conditions using an autopilot. The landing distance and speed are also adjustable to ensure what of the sink off. Well, those are the effects that aircraft faces during the bad weather conditions. And thank you. That's all from me.
Okay, for my conclusion, aircraft mass and performance is very important, which was the risk of having a weight and balance related accident with cargo flights is 8 to 5 times higher than with passenger flights. There are various factors involved in weight and balance accidents. Incidents such as error in the load shedded, shifting or cargo incorrect loading, etc. No single factor could be identified in the present study that had a very dominant influence. However, loaded sheet errors, incorrect loading and shifting of a cargo seem to be the most important factors. That's all from me. I hope everyone understand this aircraft mass and performance well. That's all from me.